Even more controversial is one image of a land formation, a formation that looks like a sculpted human face. However, NASA officials are denying it as an indication of an alien civilization.
Hi, I'm Torstein from Cinema Terror, and since the X-Files has come back for season 11, I felt the urge to resurrect my idea of doing an episode review of all the older ones. So here is my review of Space, which is episode 9 from season 1. So back to Space. Mulder and Scully are approached by a NASA worker, expressing huge concerns that someone within NASA is trying to sabotage the current space shuttle program.
Not to mention certain fringe elements who accuse our government itself of space sabotage. The failure of the Hubble telescope and the Mars Observer directly connected to a conspiracy to deny us evidence.
Evidence of what?
Alien civilization.
Oh, of course.
Mulder and Scully agrees to investigate the situation to make sure the new launch will go as planned. They arrive at NASA and meet with Colonel Marcus Belt, who was an astronaut himself and is now the commander of the mission. When the launch goes well, they start to head home before being interrupted with news that NASA has lost communication with the shuttle and that the shuttle is now in danger of burning up and killing everyone inside it. Mulder and Scully has to figure out who is behind this sabotage, while the rest of the NASA workers do their best in trying to bring the astronauts back home alive. Space is on one hand an interesting episode. First off, there wasn't really anything about the situation at first that would make you assume that this was an X-File. It is a weird episode if you look closely at it, as there isn't that much for Mulder and Scully to do here in the first place. While there is a supernatural entity in the story, it is not in the forefront and not something our beloved duo will come across closely or get familiarized with either. You could basically have told the exact same story without Mulder and Scully being present. Now there is a nice scene with Mulder geeking out over meeting Colonel Belt, but other than that, they are just going through the motions here.
Fox Mulder, I'm a big fan. It's an honor to meet you. You were a big hero to me when I was a kid.
Thank you.
I stayed up all night when I was 14 to watch your spacewalk.
But the story itself though is only okay. The creature from space, not green little aliens for once, used to creep me out when I saw it at an early age, but today it looks sadly a bit dated. The idea is quite cool and should have been taken advantage of in a different setting. It is a bit of a surprise that the episode feels so out of place in the X-Files series, as the writer is none other than the showrunner Chris Carter himself, but I guess it can be blamed on still being early days for the show. This was also made as a cheaper episode, since they had already used more money than expected so far on the first 8 episodes of the season. Chris Carter himself has said years later that he was disappointed with the outcome of it, and it has been regarded by many as being the worst episode of the first season. I don't think Space is all that bad, although it is an episode that will not stick with you for very long. There's not much more I have to say about Space, to be honest, as there simply isn't that much to discuss from it.
Scully, we send those men up into space to unlock the doors of the universe, and we don't even know what's behind them. I think whatever it was, he took it with him.
So the final score for Space will be 2 out of 5 X's. What's your opinion on Space? Is it underrated for you, or do you also feel like this deserves the poor rating that I gave it? Next episode up is Fallen Angel. Not sure when I will get around to do it, probably it will either come very fast or take a long time like this episode did. Feel free to tell me to hurry up in the comment section below, as that will help me prioritize the X-Files videos. Thank you for watching, and keep watching the skies.